much good random shit too.
Hold on.
Some of it's thin,
I
but
need to hear this again. Hold on. So you said teams that are coming off a road game in one of the party cities. What did you
L.A.,
say?
Atlanta, New York, Vegas, Miami, New Orleans.
So the top 5 party cities are what against the spread?
51-84. 51 and 84.
So the theory, the theory is they
I keep
party.
thinking of like a Party City store.
I
Like
mean,
they're coming off of
51 and 84 is significant though. If he tried to drop some like 44 and 49, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. But 51 and 80.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big difference.
So
Russell Wilson. Are you
we're
guys
live.
on Denver or
We're live,
KC?
by the way. We're live.
Oh, what's up, guys?
I hit live
Yeah,
on
I'm
Toast purposely because I
Denver.
wanted everyone to hear that.
You wanted to catch his weird freaking trend fetish in the flesh?
Yeah, 2 teams coming off party city visit. So, happy New Year's to everyone. Well, actually, happy New Year's in 4 minutes. Not a great college football night, but if Ohio State, unless they throw a pick 6, which would be devastating, we're going to drop about 1.2 units, 1.1 units in college football. NBA cleaned up. I went 7-1 plus 4.05 units. Huge night in NBA. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have hit live. Ohio State's in field goal range right now.
What?
Yeah, this game is crazy.
Let's just enjoy it. It's a little watch along party for 4 minutes or whatever.
I it's like part of me is kind of pissed at TCU and that's dope for that program and Sonny Dykes, but tell me they didn't just rob us of what would have been an electric rematch national championship. That would have been dope. And of course that's bearing Ohio State makes this field goal. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, they won already because they covered plus 6. But we'll see if they actually win the game. All right, so comments are coming in. Yeah, I know Toast label isn't right. So the show's set up because Sean's usually our third, but Sean's, I think, out with his girlfriend doing Sean things, doing typical Sean things.
Yeah.
So Toast is a
what he
last
does.
minute stand-in, and what he's doing is Toast is going to provide us with trends for each game. So when we start with a game, Toast is going to hit us with 3 or 4 trends before I give you the winners and Prop Beaver gives you the losers. Yeah. So it's 11:57. Let's hang out for another couple minutes. I'm sorry if you're watching and you're like, get started now. But I mean, the whole thing was to start at midnight, and it's 11:58, and also this game has 19 seconds left. CJ,
Yeah, dude,
no, incomplete.
I can't even combat the disses in the football space anymore. I just take them.
Just take them right on the chin.
I'm honestly with these props, I'm just gonna have a little bit of fun. We'll see what happens.
Well, the thing is with this NFL slate is there's a lot of so I have a close friend of mine who listens to a lot of handicapper podcasts and YouTube channels, and I don't have the time to listen to them all. But what I do is, usually on Saturday night, I call them and I'm like, "Yo, Chris, like, give me the rundown. Where's everyone on? You know, like, I want to see if I'm with like on the side of everyone on YouTube or if I'm against them. I just like to get a feel for it." And he told me there's a ton of passes this week that a lot of people. A lot of cappers out there are just passing a lot of games, and I understand because there's a few of them where I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to pick this game? Who's even playing? How much do they even care? There's definitely a lot of that. So I get it.
It's a tough one. I will be honest, and honestly, as the year goes on, the prop lines get even sharper and sharper. So these dudes are like on it with the numbers, having it at key numbers and stuff like that. So that makes it more difficult as well.
But that's the bad news. The good news is there's 14 games. So even though there's a few passes in there, there's still some plays I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Hairston, thanks for joining us, my dog. Ethan Wilson's in there. A couple names I recognize.
By the way, this is my first time on the new setup. I'm digging it.
Oh, that's right. You haven't even seen... Oh, I'll keep it on this.
Yeah.
So when I switch to this screen, you guys can see it better, right?
I mean, I can just see the comments. That's the first time I've ever been able to see the comments on the screen.
So where would you guys prefer I keep the screen? Here? Right here? Or would you rather me keep it here? I don't care. I'll keep it wherever.
I like the other view.
Yeah, I'll keep it here for you guys.
Okay, thanks.
I will figure out a
Means a
way
lot,
where you
bro.
can access that screen, but OBS is brand new to me. Ohio State lines up with a 50-yard game winner. The kick is up. It's no good. It's no good. Georgia wins. Oh, and it's midnight. So happy New Year officially to everyone. Thanks for spending it here. So why don't we start the new year off right and let's talk Cleveland Browns football. um, every year I like to start off with a good Cleveland Browns talk. Joking, obviously. So Browns at Commanders here. I have 3 bets on this one. Beaver, why don't for this one we throw some unit counts out there, just to make it interesting, you know? So because I have 3 bets on this one, but it's just a half unit on each, and I want to make that clear before I post it. So
Okay.
I'm on the Browns +2. I'm on the under at 41, and I'm on Washington team total under 20.5. 3 bets, half unit each. So, I know a lot of people are going to be on Washington here for the simple fact that they need this game badly, and Cleveland's already eliminated. I get that. But that method of betting just really hasn't been successful, especially in recent years. It's not that I think Washington will be unmotivated. The part that I'm not buying is that Cleveland's playing for nothing because this team's 6-9. They don't even have a first-round pick next year. So the idea that they're like tanking, no, they're not tanking. This team wants to win. There's nothing this team wants more than to win these next 2 games against Washington and Pittsburgh and go into the season, go into the offseason with an 8-9 record, 4-2 with Deshaun Watson, bringing some positive vibes with this fan base. I mean, honestly, if Cleveland wins out and they go 4-2 with Deshaun Watson, I think the Cleveland fan base is excited going into next season, especially the way this defense is playing. Which is exactly why I'm betting the Browns. It's not that I'm betting on Deshaun Watson or Nick Chubb. This defense is... Well, first, you know what? Let's talk about the Commanders' offense with Carson Wentz at quarterback. In his last 4 starts, the Commanders have scored 8, 10, 17, and 12 points, averaging under 12 points a game. It's not like Carson Wentz is a rookie. Like, this is his 7th year. So, it's not like, he took 6 games off and he's come back and he's a brand new person. We know what Carson Wentz is, and I'm not a Carson Wentz hater. But we've seen what this offense is with Carson Wentz. It's not good. It's nothing to fear. Your angle, if you're betting Washington here, which Prop Beaver probably is because he comes for the Washington Commanders, is your angle is that you think they can run the ball on the Cleveland Browns defense. Maybe that's true. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But let me tell you something about this Cleveland defense. They are playing at a different level recently. In the past 5 games, Cleveland's allowing just 14.8 points per game. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns are playing some defense. Their pass defense is 2nd in the NFL in DVOA over the last 5 weeks. Yeah, the run defense could be better, but this is Washington. They can't really run the ball. This Browns team just recently went into Cincinnati and played a red-hot Bengals team and held them to 23 points at 360 yards of offense. This Browns defense is better than anyone's given them credit for, and that's who I'm betting, which is why I'm taking the Browns, the under, and the Washington team under triple half unit each. Prop Beaver, tell us your wrong bet.
I mean, honestly, this is such a tough one. I wrote each side about 5 times and deleted the notes. So I've been having an aneurysm with this game. I'm gonna bet the under at 41 because both have been under machines lately. And I'm gonna bet the Commanders -1.5 or -2. I don't really care.
I was gonna say it's at
Or
2,
half
bro.
unit.
Don't even try to steal a half point on me. It's at 2. What are you doing?
I mean, it's at 1. It's
Come
at 1.5 on some
That's
books,
Bush
clown
League.
bag, but okay. You're Bush League.
Starting it out with a
Put-
typical Beaver move. All right.
Yep. Listen, simply put, this Browns offense and this Cleveland offense, this Browns offense and this Washington offense have looked horrendous as of late. I mean, even with Taylor Heineke, which this team wants to play for, they aren't even putting up points. And then, as Kyle said, they're only averaging 8 points per game in their last 4 with Carson Wentz. Now they have to face Myles Garrett and possibly Jadeveon Clowney on the edges. That isn't exactly ideal. And then on the other side of the ball, you got the Browns who look terrible with Deshaun Watson. Even with Deshaun Watson,
They've been in some bad weather,
what
though.
is
You
it?
got to give them that. They've been in some bad weather.
That's awesome. They're 22nd in rush DVOA during that span too, and they're getting 0 push up front. So the team completely looks like a pile of shit offensively. I will say I'll definitely give to that defense. They look fantastic right now. They really do. But if there's two weaknesses, it's defending the run, which Brian Robinson, at least during the more recent stretch, has been proving he could be a bit more efficient. Obviously, that Niners game was a tough matchup. And then on top of it, Carson Wentz could sling that thing deep. He's a much more accurate deep ball passer than Taylor Heineke. And we haven't really seen the Jahan Dotsons of the world explode. Well, actually, no, I didn't mean to say Jahan Dotson. I meant to say the Curtis Samuels of the world explode like they were in the beginning of the season. I think he could have a good game in this one. Ultimately, I think that the deep ball is going to be the crux for the Browns. I think that if the Washington Commanders can establish a run game, then the Browns are going to have to respect the run. They could get them on some deep balls. And ultimately, I don't think the Browns offense could catch up on the road. The Browns offense is much weakened. The weather is going to be a bit nicer, but the Washington Commanders rush defense is stout, and Nick Chubb's total is set at 68.5 tomorrow. What the hell is that about? He's got over it in 11 or 14 games this season.
I mean, they don't think they're going to be able to run the ball in Washington, but I don't think Washington's going to be able to do shit. Toast, I meant to go to you first. Do you have any trends for this game you'd like to share?
Yeah, there's a couple things. So I'm not gonna cap this game like everybody, like these two guys. I'm just gonna give you guys some trends for both sides. I'm not trying to play to either side. I swear to God. Browns, speaking to that under, Browns run a 5-0 under streak, and then the Commanders are 9-3-1 to the under their last 14 games. And then you talked about the Browns struggling to score up their last two week 13 and 16 is their worst weeks offensively. But here's a funny stat. This is league wide. The Browns have scored fewer than 14 points in 3 straight games. That's the second time Cleveland has done that since 2016. After scoring 14 points in 3 straight games or fewer, those teams go on to perform their next game at home 35-19-1 ATS. And that's since 2016. So that's a little bit of a lean towards those Browns. I don't know. I don't know much about as far as if I can trust Deshaun Watson to play much better, but it is what it is. As far as the Washington side, and the Browns do play a little bit better as a dog as compared to as a favorite. But besides that, and then as far as the Washington side, it's literally just a whole bunch of stats telling you how bad Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke are, and they're kind of essentially the same. So
Beaver loves those quarterbacks. He loves them. Don't know why.
I like the Commanders.
Let's move on to Miami at New England. And all right. So I really thought that at some point this would bump back up to 3. But it didn't. So I'm taking Miami. I'm still on Miami. I really, really would love it at 3. But it doesn't look like they're going to give it to us. But maybe that's a good thing that they won't give it to us if you think about it. So the current AFC wildcard situation, there's obviously 7 teams that make the playoffs. 6 of them are locked in. So there is 1 spot up for grabs in the AFC playoffs. And there are 6 teams battling for it. They are the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets, the Steelers, the Titans, the Raiders. But basically, this spot comes down to the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. It's basically a 3-man race. The odds for the other 3 teams are really slim. They need a lot of magic. This game's absolutely huge for both teams. I mean, in a sense, you can make an argument that the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots all control their own destiny because they all pretty much play each other. The Dolphins are the only team that can still get in with a loss. So they can lose this week and still possibly get in. But they're not thinking about that. They're thinking win and get in. I know Miami's on a losing streak here, and I know that the consensus is kind of down on Miami, especially with Tua being out. But one thing you got to like if you're a Dolphins fan heading into this game is the production we saw from Raheem Mostert in that Buffalo game. In that it was snowy in the 4th quarter, but that shitty Buffalo game, Mostert came out running the ball, and not just running the ball, he was running the ball between the tackles, and that's such a difference maker because you got Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback here. So in theory, the passing game should be limited. Whether it will be limited or not, that we'll have to see. But with a backup quarterback in, you really got to lean on the run game more. And Teddy Bridgewater is the ultimate road dog. I'm sure you've seen this on Twitter or whatever, because I'm sure everyone's talking about this. Teddy Bridgewater is 19-4 against the spread as a road underdog in his career. This is the spot he feels the most comfortable. The Dolphins are slipping. They're heading into Foxborough in January. Everyone's selling Dolphin stock. No one believes in this team anymore. Public's betting New England heavy. This is the spot Teddy Bridgewater wants to play in. I swear to God, this is where he feels comfortable when people doubt him. If Raheem Mostert averages 4 yards a carry or more in this game, which I expect him to, I think Miami wins this game outright. Everyone's praising Tua this year, and he's been great. But the truth is, he hasn't been throwing the best deep ball. I know his yards per attempt look great, so everyone's assuming he's throwing this great deep ball. If you look at the highlights of the deep balls Tua's been throwing, they're all underthrown. Tyreek Hill comes back to get those. You don't think Bridgewater can do that? I mean, Tua's been throwing the same 12, 15, 18-yard dig routes every single game. Teddy can throw those, especially on the road as an underdog when he feels the most comfortable. I think Miami wins in Foxborough. Give me the fish.
Yeah, I'm all over that with you. I'm also on the Dolphins. I mean, I was reading some athletic articles, and when you got your own beat writers giving the Dolphins a 27-13 victory at Foxborough, I mean, it just tells the story. Those are the guys who really know the team and follow the team. The Patriots just don't have it right now. I just don't like what I'm seeing from this team. It seems like Mac Jones and the coordinators getting to a different fight every week. And while the Miami defense is particularly weak on the road, it hasn't even seemed to matter. Mac Jones faced the Raiders secondary, which was one of the worst in the league, and managed just 120 yards. This guy at times could be truly terrible. But on the other side of the ball is where I really want to focus, because I think the Dolphins are going to be able to move the ball. The New England Patriots are 25th in short, middle of the field DVOA. And that's where you see guys like Jalen Waddle get a heavy amount of their targets. He's extremely elusive. And you also got Tyreek Hill, who has burned the Patriots more than a few times in his career. I ultimately think that the Dolphins' offense relies more on the wide receivers than the quarterback who is playing. And if you could get those guys the ball in space, and they're going to make plays. And I think Mike McDaniel will put those guys in a great opportunity to do so. So I do like the Dolphins +2. I do think that the Patriots defense is dealing with some major injuries as well. We have Jalen Mills, who is questionable. Marcus Jones is out for this game. I saw that another corner, Jack Jones, is going to be out for this game. Jonathan Jones is questionable. So you could potentially have 4 members of the secondary out against 2 of probably, I would say, the top 15 receivers in this league. My favorite prop for this game would be Mac Jones over passing yards, because I do think the Dolphins are going to get a lead, and that's where the Mac Daddy comes in. The pass D on the road for Miami is putrid, amongst the 5 highest in pass yards per game and yards per attempt allowed. Jones faced them at Miami to start the season, where they sit second in yards per attempt allowed. But on the road, that jumps to 29th. And his last 2 games against the Dolphins, he had 281 and 261 yards last season. I think he's due for some positive regression there. So at 223.5 passing yards, I think that's a nice value. Last thing I want to say, at home, 10-4 to this line, going back to last season in full starts. So tons of value there.
All right, sounds good. We're on the same page. I keep forgetting to go to toast first, but
I'll remind you next time. It doesn't bother me either way. But just a couple things. Kind of the Patriots have kind of been a get right spot for the Dolphins the last couple of years. Dolphins have won and covered their last 4 times facing the Patriots. Besides the Patriots, the Miami Dolphins are 3-8-1 ATS overall in the same time span. Teddy Bridgewater, like you said, 24-7 ATS on the road in his career. He has lost 4 of his last 5 on the road. But he is 20-4 as ATS as a road underdog. One thing I want to point out with the Patriots is kind of like a fun little anecdotal point. The Patriots have performed very well in this early time window since 2018. Since 2018, the Patriots are 25-15-1 ATS in this window. In the 4 p.m. window, they're 6-9-1, and at the primetime games, they're 11-15. So pretty stark difference for when the Patriots play in the morning compared compared to the night. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with Tom Brady, though. That probably helps. A lot of the Bill Belichick numbers, as far as like ATS and stuff like that, are all like mirrored with Brady stuff, as far as like 5 and 7 years and stuff like that, to get a couple extra ones in there. But besides that, that's all I got.
Yeah, you text me that. I thought that was interesting that the Patriots have an excellent record against the spread in the 1 p.m. slate. Something to keep in mind. Let's move on to the next one, and we got Arizona and Atlanta. And I know everyone's going to be like, this game sucks, but hold on. I actually think, and I know that me and Prop Beaver, on the same side on this one. Give me Atlanta. I'm going to lay the 6. I'm going to speak briefly about it because Prop Beaver loves Atlanta. He literally sent me a text saying, I love Atlanta. So I'll be brief. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm going to say. David Blau's at quarterback. No DeAndre Hopkins. Arizona's lost 5 in a row, just 2-9 in their last 11. So this is one of the worst teams in the NFL. But I mean, the Falcons aren't good either. They're 1-6 in their last 7. Their offense hasn't looked great with Desmond Ridder. The Falcons have scored 20 points just once since October 30th. So I completely get why everyone is hesitant to lay the 6. But I think that's exactly what the books have in mind when they set this number. They're taking a position here. The Falcons can run the ball, and there's a couple recent weeks that have thrown our perspective off on that. In 2 of the last 3 weeks, the Falcons have played Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That's number 1 and number 2 in run defense over the past 6 weeks. So this Falcons team can still run the ball. Just some people may have forgotten because they've played such tough played such tough defenses. So I expect them to run the shit out of the ball in Arizona. I'm taking Atlanta. Beaver, go ahead and take it.
Alrighty. So, yeah, this would probably be my bet of the week if I had a bet of the week. Now, normally you'd never catch me laying 6 with a hot heap of trash like the Atlanta Falcons, but quite frankly, the Arizona Cardinals are much, much worse, and the injuries have made the decision for me. In this game, we're going to have no Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, no Rodney Hudson, no DJ Humphries. That's 4 very pivotal pieces for this Cardinals offense as their QB1, wide receiver 1, left tackle, and center. Also take into account that the right tackle also questioned before this game. Now look at the defense, and there's no Byron Murphy. His backup Antonio Hamilton is out, and the remaining starting corner, Marco Wilson, he's also questionable. The icing on the cake, Budda Baker got put on the IR earlier this week, and he is out. So this Arizona Cardinals team has gotten gutted by injuries over the last week, and now they are so desperate at the QB position that they signed David Blau as their QB. His last start was in 2019, and here's some of his career stats. He's averaging 5.6 yards per attempt. He has 4 TDs, 7 picks, and a 62 passer rating in 6 starts. His team has failed to cover the spread in 4 of 6 starts and is 0-6 straight up. Meanwhile, we've got on the Falcons side a team that is pretty healthy coming into this game. I mean, Casey Hayward's been injured since the beginning of the season, but the only recent injury would be Taquan Graham. And while I shat on Ridder for his performance against the Saints, he looked significantly better against a pretty tough Ravens defense on the road. While he didn't throw a touchdown, he still managed 0 turnovers, completed 66.7% of his passes, and nearly doubled his yards per attempt from his first start. With this Cardinals secondary, very bad, down bad, and a non-existent pass rush for them, he should have time to cook and make some plays. The final point, the Cardinals are getting absolutely gashed on the ground right now, allowing 5+ yards per carry over the last 5 weeks. Personally, I would rather bet on Nick Cage with the mutton chops than Cliff Kingsbury in the spot.
Yo, this one comment says, I need kitchen sink to grow some balls and pick a team.
He's not here to do that.
Yeah, and that's not even kitchen sink either. He just has the wrong tag underneath him. All right.
Follow me at Redden Sports on Twitter. That's where you can get all my picks.
My name's Sean Redden. I suck. Just trash yourself with the wrong tag. I wonder if Sean's watching.
I hope so. So he's mad. One stat that's probably really meaningless, but it really looks good for you guys. Teams after facing the Ravens this season are 10-3-1 ATS their next game. So heavy lean on the Falcons for me. There you go.
There you go.
All right, kitchen sink.
I swear to God, there's nothing else for this game. It's like all the Falcons have gone all under. Cardinals have gone all over. So pick your side on that one.
All right. Kitchen sink gets a lean.
Very nice.
Jacksonville at Houston. Listen, I know the hype. I know what everyone's saying. I'm on the Jags. Maybe I'm square as hell. But here's the thing with this game. Oh, I got a cough drop in. Hold on. Sorry. So, the line movement tells a story here. This line dropped from 4.5 to 3. There's no hiding the fact that the Sharps love the Texans here. And the books are scared of it. To drop the line from 4.5 to 3, there's no question. All that being said, Doug Peterson said that he's not under any circumstances resting any starters. He said that. And he just said it like the day before yesterday. I guess that maybe people don't believe him. What is the deal here? I mean, we obviously there's the added element that Houston has beat Jacksonville in 8 straight games and 14 of the last 16. But that's the old Jacksonville. We all know this Jags team's playing at an entirely different level than we've seen from this Jacksonville team, maybe ever. Trevor Lawrence is really coming into his own. But Doug Peterson told us he's not resting any starters. This is a meaningless game for Jacksonville. That's why all the Sharps are on Houston, because they think Jacksonville doesn't care. But Doug Peterson told us that he cares. I mean, do you believe Doug or not? I believe him. I don't think he's going to pull his starters. And at an even 3, I think this is a gift. I don't think he pulls them. And even if he does, even if Doug Peterson pulls the starters, I still think Jacksonville has a chance to cover. So give me the Jags.
Yeah, I do believe Doug, but I also must mention that he did sit Jalen Hurts out of nowhere for Nate Sudfeld in a Week 17 game, and just that was it. No explanation. Just like, yeah, Nate
So you're on
Sudfeld's
Houston?
quarterback for the rest of the game. So
you're on Houston.
yeah, I'm on Houston. I hate it. I wish I was getting this at a little bit more of a bigger price, but whatever. Here's the thing. If this Jaguars revolution have reached its peak about 4 weeks ago, I could convince myself to go to the Jaguars, but I don't know what it is. This man, Lovie Smith, he has the boys juiced right now. They've just taken the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Titans to the wire, actually beat the Titans, and are not only 3-0 against the spread, but 9th in defensive DVOA during that span. Take into account that the Jags are still 3-5 against the spread on the road and have covered 2 straight. It would honestly be an anomaly considering Trevor Lawrence's career on the road for it to be 3 straight. We'll see if that happens this week. The Jags are still bottom 5 defense on the road and will be the weakest the Texans have seen during their recent uprising. And don't forget that the Jaguars also lost their left tackle last week. I think it's Cam Robinson. I'm not exactly sure, but they do lose some offensive line continuity, which is pretty big in games like this. Honestly, ultimately, I'm just playing it sharp. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be the correct pick, but this is what I'm riding with. We're going.
Thanks for that,
baby.
Thanks for that loser prop, Beaver. Toast, where you
Well,
at?
Bro.
I think I like the Jags. I will say Beaver home division dogs are 61-44 ATS since 2020. So there's a nice little lean for you. But I think you pointed it out a little bit and you used it to make your point, but I think it's to use mine. I think that Trevor Lawrence back-to-back on the road, I think that's a good thing. I think that him winning 2 in a row. And then if you look, the Jags are 5-2 to the under at home. They're 6-2 to the over on the road. They're scoring points on the road. I think with Doug Peterson there, they're starting this new era. They got to start this new era. They got to beat the Texans, get this 0-9 bullshit out of here. I'm going with the Jags, especially for my boy Scoop. So there's your pick.
Oh yeah, where is Scoop?
Oh wow, yeah, I forgot that Scoop is a Jags fan. So put 2 units on the Houston. And
Also,
then we'll also
Beaver,
put
play
another
the
on
first
money line.
half. Davis Mills, first half, 15-9 ATS, first half in his career.
What's Davis
So
Mills'
bet
first
him
half
to
in his
win
career?
the first half.
15-9.
What? There's no way.
Dude, we talked about, him having good numbers at home and stuff when I was over there.
We did talk about that.
So it's not that super crazy.
But anyway, fuck Davis Mills. Let's talk Colts Giants. I'm on Indy. Let me just check my notes to see if I threw any. Ooh, that's right. I threw down 3 bets for this game. All right, half unit on. We forgot the units. Who cares? It's New Year's. I'm pretty wasted.
Okay.
So Colts plus 5.5. I'm taking the over 39 and Colts team total over 16.5, which was at minus 105 when I wrote this. So hopefully it's still there when you see this if you're tailing. Question: when's the last time the Giants won a home game? It's November 10th, in case you were wondering, and that's against the Houston Texans. It was damn near 2 months ago. In their last 3 home games, the Giants have allowed a total of 99 points, 33 points a game. I just don't trust this Giants defense at all. I know that.
When's the last time Nick Foles has won a game?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
He started one game. When's the last time he started a game?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's 3-11 in his last 14 games he's played in his career.
I know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that, though. I didn't know he was 3-11. But
my bad.
Go ahead.
I know this Giants defense has been good situationally, but we've also seen this Giants defense look really, really bad at times. New York is 8-6-1 on the season, right? Most likely a playoff team, and good for them. But there's a reason they've only been favored in 4 games this entire season. They're 8-6-1, 15 games. They've only been favored in 4 of them. Because I know Giants fans are going to be like, oh, it's because they're sleeping on us. No. There's not a conspiracy against the Giants. So, the odds makers go by numbers, and the numbers are very clear that the Giants are not a great football team. Sorry.
And they're 1-3 in those 4 games as favorites.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even have that down, but that's dope. And also keep in mind the Giants started 6-1, so they're just 2-5-1 in their last 8 games, and that's pretty on par with what the numbers say the Giants are. They're about a 2-5-1 type team. Everyone's still riding that 6-1 days of the past. Those 6-1 days of the past, they were in the past. Now, Nick Foles is going to start again, and we could go ahead and trash Nick Foles. Deservingly so. He looked awful last week, but he played a Chargers pass rush that's really come alive recently, number 1. And I think there's nowhere to go but up. I'm not betting the Colts because I think Nick Foles is going to come out and beat the Giants. I just think he'll be slightly better than last week, and I don't think he even needs to be good to cover this number. We're not trying to beat the Giants. We're just trying to cover 5.5. And this Colts team total, game total down at 39, against this Giants defense that just isn't good. If you look at Michael Pittman's receiving numbers, it's 62.5, 63.5. Seems like the books agree with me that Foles is going to make some plays in the passing game. Nick Foles' passing total is set higher than Daniel Jones. The Colts are 4-10 with their third-string quarterback in against an 8-6 team with their starter, and Nick Foles' passing total is set higher than Daniel Jones. I just feel like that tells me everything I need to know. Go ahead. Everyone bet the Giants. And I'm sure the Giants may very well win the game, but I'm taking the 5.5 points.
This is like the biggest pass on the board. Who gives a fuck about this game? I really don't. Just give me the Colts to be sharp, but I'm not really going to sit here and waste everybody's time. I do not care about this game.
All right. So I got a couple of things really quick. I think the Colts would be a nice piece to put in like a teaser, getting like 10.5 or 11.5 or so. All the numbers are really bad as far as them ATS and stuff like that. Like they're 3-14 in the first half. Their last 17 first halves. They've lost 6 straight games against teams under 500 or better. Foles is 4-13 against those teams, since it's all bad. But the reason that I like them in a teaser is that, one, the Giants don't play well as chalk. And then for two, in the last 20 Giants home games, the under is 17-3. So I think getting the Colts in a teaser at like 11.5, I just don't think that the Giants can win by double digits. So we can find somebody else to pair them with in this show. But I think that's the best bet, is to play it under, or you could tease the Colts with the under as well. But that's how I would look at it. Sorry, I didn't assume that you were writing that down. My bad.
You just gave him the Cincinnati Reds first 5 team total over 3.5.
I do have my baseball is best shirt on.
Don't worry, baby. I'm just doing so bad in the NFL this year. It hurts. It just hurts so bad to me. It really hurts so bad. I have to look for an escape outside of the sport. And Tyler Mahle in his first road start, it's going to be money.
He literally, Prop Beaver literally said that to me when we were capping football games, bowl games. He was like, let me tell you, Sonny Gray against lefties this year. I said, dude, what'd you just say? Talk to me in April. Like, keep that to yourself. I don't want to know. You know what Beaver just said about the last game? That's my thoughts on this one. Oh,
really?
I'm taking Denver plus 12.5. But it won't be a big bet. It's literally just fading the Chiefs laying a big number because that has a high hit rate. That's literally it.
Yeah. I'm betting the Broncos as well. You simply have to take them off that atrocity. I mean, off the coach firing. This is a team that's essentially reached rock bottom. But this is where you could catch opponents sleeping. What have the Chiefs really done as of late to impress you? I mean, they're 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. And if the Seahawks offense wasn't anemic, it would be 0-4. The Broncos' single highest offensive output this season was against the Chiefs. And the way KC is letting up points, I think they score some points here again. I think Russell Wilson could do it. Now, the Broncos D has started to give up a little bit on them. I will say that. But this defense is nowhere as near as bad as they were last week. I mean, 51 points to Baker Mayfield and the Rams. You would think this is like the most sinful defense in all the league. No, this is a really talented defense that I just think reached its boiling point. And I think they come out with a better effort in this game. I mean, I could be completely wrong. They could get absolutely eviscerated. Who knows? But the Chiefs at home, laying big points, not profitable long term. I'll take the divisional dog on the road.
To answer the comments, the reason I'm clicking on mute on my own mic in between when I'm talking because I'm still sick and I'm sniffling, and I don't want when they're talking to hear I don't want you guys to hear that. So when I'm done talking, I'm clicking mute. That's why. Go ahead, Toast. You got anything for us here?
Yeah, there's a couple things. So Russell Wilson, obviously it's his first year in Denver. We all know that. But in his career, he's been really good as an underdog, 35-19-2 ATS in his career as an underdog, including 5-2 ATS as an underdog with the Broncos. And as a touchdown or more underdog, Russell Wilson 6-0. As to the Chiefs at home, double-digit favorites in the NFL this year, 8-15. That's the worst start for double-digit favorites in the last 20 years. The Chiefs are also playing really good defense at home. The Chiefs are 7-1 to the under, and they're 6-1 to the over at home. So they're one of those teams that's kind of opposite. But another thing that's I like.
Wait, hold on. Let me stop you. You said Chiefs are 7-1 to the under, but 6-1 to the over at home. Say that again?
Sorry, Chiefs are 6-1 to the under at home, 6-1 to the over on the road. So they're playing unders at home, overs on the road. My apologies on that one. But yeah, when the Chiefs are 7-point are favorites or higher in Arrowhead, the under is 31-13-1, 71%. The last whatever that is, 45, 6, 7 times that it's done that. So that's a pretty hard lean to the under. I think both teams play good on defensively. So I would lean heavy to the under on this one. And yeah, like I said, with Russell Wilson and that Russell Wilson with his ATS as an underdog, I'd take the points.
I like the under too, because if you remember the first game, for this one. Everyone was on the under, and it weirdly went way over. Like, if you remember, I think
Yeah.
the final score, wasn't it like 42-27 or something crazy where it was like, holy
Mhm.
shit. So I could completely see a 20-6 Chiefs win, or hopefully a 20-10 Chiefs win, so we cover. Let's move on to the next one. Carolina on the road at Tampa Bay. I'm gonna you know what I want to do for this one? I'm going to read you a text message from Prop Beaver, and I feel like this really sums up my thoughts on this game. He sent this to me about 2 hours ago. Literally sent me. Hold on. Where the hell? Damn, we text a lot.
We're just a bunch of texters.
I'm gonna let that one go.
This is terrible.
I'm gonna let it go.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
He said something like, if I don't know where it is. He said something like, if you're betting Carolina this week, turn in your sharp card. Was something about
It's
something.
It's facts.
And
If you're a real sharpman, you're not betting the Panthers.
if you're a sharpshooter, you are on the Bucks. Definitely on Tampa Bay, without a doubt here. This is a win and they're in situation for the Bucks. It doesn't matter what happens next week. Either they lose to the Falcons and the Saints win out. If the Bucks win this week, it's over. They win the division. Carolina kind of has the exact opposite scenario. If they lose, they're out. If they win, they don't clinch. They need something else. So if we're going off based what we've seen for the last 4 to 5 weeks, then no doubt Carolina plus 3.5 is the play. No doubt. And usually that's how I cap games. Usually that's what I go off of. I like recent games. I don't care what you did 2 months ago. I'm a what have you done for me recently kind of guy. That being said, in this game, do you really trust Sam Darnold to go in? I want you to look yourself in the mirror. Look yourself dead in the eyes. Do you really trust Sam Darnold to go into Tampa Bay and do this? Seriously,
I got one question. I just got one question. How many sacks do you think the Bucks are going to have? And that's I'm not talking shit. That's a legitimate question. How many sacks do you think the Bucks are going to have?
1 or 0. I don't think they even.
Really? Okay.
I don't think. My bet on this game is not based on Tampa Bay's pass rush or pass defense. So it could be 0. I don't really care. I think I think Carolina's coming in here expecting to run the ball with Foreman the way they've been doing in recent weeks. And I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. That's my thoughts on it. Vita Vea is back at nose tackle for the Bucks. We all know how huge he's been over the past couple of years for that defense. He hasn't played in 3-4 weeks or something like that. He's back. I think the Bucks run defense is good, and I know it's been up and down, and it's been down a lot this year, but I still think it's good, and it's going to show up in this home game, this must-win game. But really, what really has me on the Bucks is on the other side. Let's talk about the Bucks offense. You know who isn't playing for Carolina? J.C. Horn. You can make a really strong case that he's been the most important player on the Carolina Panthers roster this year. Not just the defense, the roster. You can make a case. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying you could make a case that he has been. He's not playing. How do you expect to travel to Tampa Bay and cover Chris Godwin and Mike Evans from Tom Brady in a must-win game without your guy, without your corner? I just am not seeing it. And the Carolinas are going to come in here trying to run the ball against a Bucks defense that it's pretty much the healthiest it's been at all year. This was the best run defense in football last year, and it's not nearly as close to as good this year as it was last year, but it's also been hurt a lot this year. I honestly think the Bucks win comfortably. I think they win by 10.
Yeah. So I'm all over the what is it? The Buccaneers with you. Buccaneers -3.5. The Panthers have been flowing lately, but if you can shut this run game down, then you can cover a small spread against Carolina. In the 3 games recently, where I'm trying to clarify what those 3 games are. 1, 2, 3. So in the 3 games over the last 7 game span, where they've rushed for less than 100 yards, this is the points they've lost by: 8, 10, and 21. Now, I understand that the Bucks are 1-6-1 against the spread this season at home, but the
Ew.
books moving this from -3 to -3.5, -4 is a big dick move. That is full-blown reverse line movement, and they are daring you to take the Panthers. The Bucks offense is much, much more functional at home, and with the entire Panthers offensive identity relying on the Bucks defensive strength, which is stopping the run, I like the Bucks here. Also helps, as you said, the JC Horn is out. He's been outstanding this season. Who is going to guard Mike Evans and Godwin on the outside? My favorite prop for this game, Deonta Foreman under 60.5 rushing yards. I love this play. It reeks of trap for the other side. Like, they are begging you to bet Deonta Foreman. He had 118 yards in his last time he played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's coming off an 156-yard rushing performance against the Detroit Lions. Now, on DraftKings, it's at 60.5 juice to the under, and on FanDuel, it's at 57.5. They are trying to entice you to take that over, and I refuse to do it. In games that Foreman goes over, he's averaging 120 yards per game. In games where Foreman has gone under during the 7-game span, he's averaging 16.7 yards per game. And here's what's really concerning for me, the road numbers for Foreman. Here's Foreman's last 3 road starts. He has 121 yards combined on 39 attempts, averaging just 3.1 yards per carry. And now look at the Bucks' last 3 home games in terms of rush defense. The last 3 starting running backs they faced were held to 64 yards on 33 carries, averaging 1.9 yards per carry. I think Deonta Foreman's going to get shut down big time here. I think the Panthers' offense is going to struggle. They're going to have to abandon the run, and they're going to get their ass kicked.
Yeah, it was perfect timing because when I was doing the write-up for this game, I was really looking into the Bucks' run defense because that was the angle I was looking for. Can the Bucks stop Foreman, right? So I was really looking into those numbers. And as soon as I finished it, I opened up Twitter, and the first thing that popped up was Prop Beaver's post Deontay Foreman under rushing yards. And I was like, oh, shit, perfect. We're on the exact same page. Mm-hmm. So that bumped me up. Toast, tell me you're on the other side.
I just don't know if I can bet Tom Brady right now. Like, I mean, obviously Brady, they're 1-11 ATS their last 13 games. That's literally the least profitable quarterback in a single season in the last 20 years.
Oh, that's putrid.
Say that one more time.
That 1-11-1 ATS mark, their first 13. That's the least profitable ATS stretch in a single season in the last 20 years. Him, Mark Bulger, David Garrard, and Mitch Trubisky are all in the same category for how they've played this year or covered. The Buccaneers are failing to cover the spread by 6.2 points per game. That's the worst margin in the NFL. But what I do like is first half under. The under is 13-2 in the Buccaneers' last 15 games this season. So if you guys tell me that they're going to come out and shut down the Panthers and stuff, I don't think there's going to be a lot of points because I don't really trust that offense either. So I'd play the first half under and take my chances with that. But I'm not betting on Brady with you.
I'm down for that. If I was to lean a total, I would lean under as well. What is the first half under at?
That I'm not positive. I'm sorry.
You know what? I have Action Network open, so I can tell us in 2 seconds. First half under is at 19.5.
I was just about to say, damn.
At plus money, though.
Oh, then sign me up. Worth a half a unit for me all day, especially at plus money.
Yeah, we forgot about the units thing. We'll get back to that in baseball.
But really, I forgot about that too. But the one reason I asked about the sack thing is Sam Darnold's record when he gets sacked and when he doesn't get sacked is completely different. When he's sacked 2 or fewer times, 6-2 straight up. When he's sacked 3 or more times, 1-7 straight up. So just a huge difference. Yeah, so a huge difference when he's not getting sacked when he is.
Well, it's not. I get it. I like the Bucks defensive front here, so I can see him getting sacked. It's more against the run that I like. But anyway, let's move on. Next game's Bears at Lions, and okay. So I have 2 bets here, and I feel like this is I have a safe way to play this game, because obviously when we look at this, actually I shouldn't say this because people are weird, but you would think that most people want to bet the Lions when they look at this game, based on how the season's gone. I know there's a couple Justin Fields freaks out there that are like, Bears are for real, but you're wrong. No, but the reason I'm saying bet this this is a safe way, is because if the Bears cover this number, most likely they're going to do so by putting up 30 points in Ford Field in the Dome. Justin Fields going crazy. So if we lose against the spread, we should at least split here. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, let's go to the notes. Short one for here. It's pretty simple. I mean, the Lions offense, as we all know, if you've watched this YouTube channel, I don't have to go through it. Jared Goff's numbers at home are insane. On the road, not so much. So the Lions offense at home has been top 3 in the NFL. The Lions at home are for real. Chicago is just 1-6 on the road this season. Their only road win came on that Monday Night Football game in Foxborough, where that weird rainy game. That was a weird game. This game's being played in a dome. That's the Bears' worst nightmare. They need bad weather. That's how the Bears win games. The Bears are what 3-12 on the season? We're at 3-12.
Yeah.
3-12. Of their 3 wins, 2 of them came in awful weather. Awful weather. Their third win, the only win that they have all season that didn't come in bad weather, was home against Houston, and they won by 3. It was 23-20. I don't believe in this Bears team at all. In fact, I think this is the worst team in the NFL. And no, I'm not trying to offend Justin Fields. For anyone in the comments like, oh, hater. I like Ohio State. I'm a Buckeyes fan. I like Justin Fields. I'm just saying this team sucks. I think this Bears defense is the worst defense ever trodden onto an NFL field before. This is horrible. This was already a bad defense, and then they traded away their 2 best players. This is so bad. The Bears have lost 8 games in a row. They're 1-11 in their last 12. Have they played a couple close games? Yeah. And like potentially, could I see them keeping this one close? Maybe. But if they do, it's going to be one of those electric high-scoring games, in which case the over should cover and we'll split even. So I'm going to take the Lions -6 and the over 52.5.
Can I say something to that over really quick, Beaver?
Go ahead.
Yeah, watch him now.
Detroit's on a 12-5 run on the over, and Chicago's on an 8-1 run to the over as well. So a definite lean to the over. And then I'm going to take a page out of your playbook, Beaver. Justin Fields, he's looking to become the single season rushing leader in NFL history. Lamar Jackson has 1,206 yards in 2019. Justin Fields is at 1,100. So he needs to keep on going. So I would look at his rushing total too, because they might be coming from behind. He might be running from his life. You can get a Fields TD and over 69.5 rush yards for plus 190. That's how I'm playing this game. But yeah.
Solid.
Definitely into the over.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean,
You're on the Lions with me, AJ. Actually, I think he's on the Lions, but he hates it, I believe, is what he said.
I just threw him a curveball with the
here's
Justin
what
Fields.
happened. So here's what happened. No, you didn't throw a curveball at all, actually, because I think Justin Fields can go for 100 plus here, and he still won't cover because the 4 previous running quarterbacks the Lions faced all hit the rushing over, but none of them covered the number. So I think that the Lions are going to cover, but I hate what happened. I had a source, I'm not going to name names, Action Network, who had said that 99% of the money was on the Chicago Bears. And then I checked 3 other sources.
Well, hold on.
What?
I don't think 99, because I go on Action Network all the time. I never saw 99. But I will go.
Are you?
Yes, I've been on Action Network forever. I saw 93, 92. I never saw 99.
My bad. Okay, here, listen. It doesn't matter, this 8% that we're arguing about. It does not matter. The 90%, it doesn't matter. Most of the money was supposed to be on the Bears. It's not on the Bears. That is what I'm mad about. It does not. The percentages do not matter. I am angry that I'm being lied to about where the money is, okay?
Well, no, hold on. Action Network can only report to you their data. So, like, if everyone's on Action Network betting the Bears, they can't report to you false data. That just shows you everyone on Action Network betting the Bears. I mean, Action Network has their own content that they put out. So if Action Network's podcasts are all taking the Bears, obviously everyone with Action Network is going to be on the Bears. It doesn't make them liars.
Detroit even more.
Doesn't make them
No,
liars.
It does. They're fucking liars, bro. Everybody
It
and their
makes me
mother
like
has
Detroit
different
even more.
information, and then they have some other shit, a bunch of clownery. Just give me the lines, bro. I talk so much about this stupid line that I don't even have reasoning. Enough. Just go next game.
All right, next game. I could just picture Prop Beaver on his laptop, like looking at Action Network, like scrolling all bad. 99% of the money, no shot. All right, next game. All right, Saints at Eagles. So take out the nicotine here. I'm on the Saints here. I am also on. I have 2 bets on this one. And I'm actually pretty big on this game. At first, it was just a lean. But I actually think I'm pretty confident that I'm on the right side here. I have Saints plus 5.5, and I'm taking the Philadelphia team total under 23.5. And I know that sounds crazy to take this Eagles offense under in points, but so this is strictly me backing the Saints defense because I don't think people realize how high of a level the Saints defense is playing at right now. It's not getting nearly the credit it deserves. New Orleans is a team that hasn't allowed more than 20 points in a football game since November 7th. That's 2 months ago. It's January 1st. November 7th? That's 2 months ago. So that's the last time the Saints allowed more than 20 points in a game. This is a team that went to San Francisco, and this was before Garoppolo got hurt. This team went to San Francisco and held the 49ers to 13 points. This is a really good defense, and this New Orleans defense has been really good for a few years now. This isn't new. They were just dealing with a lot of injuries, so it's almost like everyone forgot how good this Saints defense is under Dennis Allen. Just because he switched from DC to head coach doesn't mean the defense all of a sudden sucks. I mean, I think this is truly a top 5 defense that no one really realizes yet. So this is me betting the Saints defense. This isn't me fading Gardner Minshew because I like Minshew. I liked him at Washington State. I like him now. I think he's solid. Even if Hurts was playing, this line would probably still be at 6.5, 7, and I'd still be on New Orleans. So this has nothing to do with Minshew playing. And one thing I've heard a couple times, right? So you've heard this game means something to the Eagles, right? Because not only do they need to win one more game to clinch the division, but they also own the Saints' first-round pick. So by beating the Saints, they would improve their own draft position in April. Makes complete sense, right? So they need the game to clinch the division, and they need to win the game to improve their draft position. Everyone's talking about that. Why is no one talking about the fact that the Saints are still battling to make the playoffs? Like, this isn't a meaningless game for the Saints. If the Saints win out and Tampa Bay loses, New Orleans is in the playoffs. This isn't meaningless. The Saints are still playing. So as much as there is still a cause to fight for on the Philly side, there's more of a cause on the New Orleans side. And we're getting Andy Dalton in a 1 p.m. slate where I'd feel a lot more comfortable in New Orleans, don't get me wrong. But Andy Dalton and this Saints team at 1 p.m. hasn't been bad at all. He just sucks at primetime. Or if it's the game of the week, I ain't touching it there either. But Saints in the 1 p.m. slate, they play great defense. I'm getting 5.5 points. I'm going to take them. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I think the Saints cover. Let me just make sure. I kind of freestyled that. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any good stats. No, I think I got it all. Cool. Yeah, so I'm on the Saints and Philly team total over.
Dennis Allen has cost me so much money on props this year that I would actually never put $1 on that piece of shit. He's scum to me. Give me the Eagles first half -3. The Saints did it. Congrats. They won and covered a game on the road. Now they have to face a team they traded their first rounder to, coming off a bitter loss against a division rival. Talk about some field to kick the shit out of a horrible team. And this Saints team, I don't really find compelling as, yes, their defense is absolutely flowing, but they're still finding ways to not cover games. I mean, on the road this season, they're 2-5 against the spread, And yes, they've covered their last 2 games. I will definitely give them that. But that was against a Tampa Bay offense that is anemic and a Cleveland offense that is anemic. Now we're getting an Eagles offense that even without even without Jalen Hurts, was able to put up numbers against that Cowboys defense last week. Honestly, take a Miles Sanders fumble away, and I think they put up even more numbers in that game. I think Miles Sanders is going to have a huge bounce back effort in this one. The last 2 times he's faced the Saints, he's averaged 7 yards per carry and is averaging 104.5 rushing yards in those games. I mean, the Saints are also low-key getting ran on as of late. Their pass defense has been excellent, even without Marshawn Lattimore. I'll give them that. But they've allowed the last 6 or 7 running backs they've faced to hit their rushing prop over. Personally, I think that the Eagles are very good in the first half. I can find them getting a pop to start the game, but then slowly letting up that lead to the Saints. So I don't want to have to deal with the full game spread. I do like what Kyle said, and I respect it. The Saints defense is awesome. I'm just essentially asking the Eagles to score a field goal in the first half and to hold the Saints scoreless.
Interesting, Beaver. I just I worry about Lane Johnson. The Eagles, when he's not playing, are a completely different team. And it showed in their ATS. They're only 3-10 straight up when they don't have Lane Johnson. So I hope their backup's pretty damn good. Yeah, I'm with the sauce. I like the Saints here. Yeah, that's just one. He took all the things that I was going to say, but the only thing I can really add is that Lane Johnson has been very good for the Eagles, and when he doesn't play, they don't really win.
Oh, yeah, so it's 5 minutes from New Year's in Central Time. I didn't even think about that. So usually I'm sleeping by now, New Year's this time. So I guess New Year's happens 3 different times. I always just assume New Year's happened all at one time, and that's because I've always lived at the East Coast and I don't travel.
It actually happens 4 times because then us in Alaska get our New Year's.
No one cares about you guys, though. Toast sent me a picture of Moose standing on his back porch. It's fucking insane.
I know. They're coming to collect money.
Collect the money?
No, right. They're looking for food because they
said, "Where's that?" Nah, they're like, "Where's my Ohtani future money, bitch?"
There you go. You're late on your rent.
Yeah.
All right. So, San Francisco at Las Vegas. This one, I hate that I have to do this.
I get why you're doing it, though. It actually makes a ton of sense.
It's the most public bet on the board. But if you are only going to bet one of these, bet the under. Like I said, stay safe and just stick to the under if you're not a risk taker. But I obviously have to pick the Raiders. Like I said, San Francisco, most public bet on the board this week. In theory, if you think about it, Derek Carr not playing should not result in a dramatic line shift. I mean, he's a solid quarterback, but he's not like a 6-7 point shift at all. But the thing is, it's not just the fact that Derek Carr isn't playing. It's the rest of the team also. For example, you heard Davante Adams come out and voice his opinion. He's certainly not happy that his boy Derek Carr isn't playing. Who knows how the rest of the team feels, because from what I've read and heard over the years, that Derek Carr is pretty liked in the locker room. I really have to wonder how motivated this Raiders team really is. The crazy part is, the Raiders aren't even mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, they have less than a 1% chance of making it, but they are not mathematically eliminated yet. They're sitting at 6-9, and they still could technically get in at 8-9. So why wouldn't they come out and play hard? Why wouldn't they, right? It's just the whole Carr not only getting benched but leaving the team thing is just weird to me. And it's not just that. There's also a matchup concern, because we all know this Raiders offense has run through Josh Jacobs throughout the season. He's the NFL's leading rusher, and with Derek Carr out, you'd think the Raiders would lean even more on Josh Jacobs than usual. Do you really see the Raiders coming out and ripping off 4.5, 5 yards a carry on this 49ers defense, which has been so good? Of course not. Me neither. But the truth is, this line was at 10. This line was at 10, and the entire world, I mean, everyone you've ever heard of is betting the 49ers. and it still dropped to 9.5. We're still dealing with a rookie quarterback here, a 7th-round pick rookie quarterback. I like Brock Purdy. I've been singing Brock Purdy's praises since Iowa State, since 2020 Iowa State, not even just last year. That being said, the Raiders do have talent on that pass rush. And as much as we can sit here and talk about how are the Raiders going to score with Stidham on the 49ers defense, we could talk about that all day. Is anyone going to be completely shocked if Max Crosby has a 3-sack day and we finally see Brock Purdy look like a rookie? No, I don't think anyone's going to be completely shocked by that. We're talking about 9.5 points on the road here. Tebow isn't going to play. He practiced twice. I know some people thought he was going to play, myself included. He's not. He's been officially ruled out. He's going to sit another week. These won't be huge bets. And like I said, I like the under better than the Raiders. But if you're talking about picking a side against the spread, I'm taking Las Vegas.
Dude, this is a really, really tough one.
Go ahead.
Where you going to say, Toast?
I was just going to say, do you think that the Raiders are going to be able to score points? And I'm not even talking shit. That's like a legit question.
No, I could see them being held to 10, 13 points. That being said, I just watched the 49ers go in and win 13-0 on the Saints. I don't trust the 49ers offense really either.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely fair. Dude, this is so tough. I think that Derek Carr is a genuinely good quarterback. And I think that if he struggled in this system to produce, then I really think that Jared Stidham is going to have his mind explode against the 49ers defense that's this good. I mean, the run game is going to give him no help. He's going to have receivers that are only going to be running for 2 seconds. And then guess what? He'll be sacked and on his ass. I mean, Jared Stidham showed absolutely nothing as a New England Patriot. I hate this game so much, but if I had to bet something, I'm going with the 49ers in the first half. I'm not going with the full game. I'm just going in the first half. The Raiders haven't been the best first half team, and the 49ers
What's
are
the
quite
line?
a good
What's
first
the
half
line?
team. 6.5. 6.5.
Whew.
I know, but ultimately the Raiders, I just don't trust this team, and I need to fade them in some way. I mean, by benching Derek Carr as the owner, you essentially said, I do not care if we win this game. So why should any of your employees care if you win this game?
Because they're playing for their contracts, their futures. That's why.
Cool.
You're always on tape, Beaver. You're always on tape.
Always. Toast, anything for this game?
Film never lies, Beaver. The film never lies. Actually, the reason I asked you about the Raiders scoring, because I like the under too, because everything I read is about the overs and overs in Allegiant Stadium, and the Raiders play to the over when they're at home, and yada, yada, yada. And I think that the 49ers come in here and make it very hard for the Raiders to score. I don't see Jared Stidham being able to do much. They're going to have to lean on Jacobs. Both teams run the ball well. Obviously, without Debo there, that's the one thing that bothers me. The 49ers without Debo have are 7-8 straight up, so that's not the best thing when he doesn't get the ball. But the 49ers absolutely smash teams who can't score. When they face teams that score under 24 points a game, they're 38-16 ATS. So I would assume it's a San Francisco route.
Okay, so Toast is on San Francisco. And I mean, I completely get why people are there. Trust me, I'm not thrilled.
I'm on the under. I'm not playing San Francisco. I'm just playing the under, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So under 42.5.
I think it might be 40-0 type of thing.
All right, let's move on to the next one because fuck that game. All right, Jets and Seahawks here. Should be one of the better games of the week. I'm on the Jets and the under here. Let me put it on the board. Jets -1.5, under 42.5, and here's why. All right, so this is just a fade Geno Smith spot for me, without a doubt. Fade Geno. The NFL
revenge game. Oh,
dude, it's plain and simple. The NFL has figured Geno Smith out. I'm sorry to break it to you. And I'm not saying this on some Geno Smith hater shit. I like Geno. But the truth is, this team is not performing. I mean, Seattle is now 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games. 1-5 straight up in those games. So not only are they not covering the number, but they're not winning games either. Their only win in that span was the Rams, and they didn't cover. And to me, the most terrifying part, actually, I wrote down credit Prop Beaver for this because he was the one, he said this on like Monday, but Geno Smith has become so reliant on DK Metcalf, right? It was obvious in the Chiefs game, and who the fuck did they play before that? Oh, the 49ers game. It was on either Monday Night Football or Thursday night. I forget which one, but Thursday night. Yeah, it was on a prime Thursday night. And he just has become so reliant on DK Metcalf. He's always looking to this guy. It's his safety blanket. Sauce Gardner is going to blanket this dude. The Jets may not have been playing the best football recently, but this pass defense is still top 5, maybe even top 3 in the NFL. The only thing I can say leans towards Seattle is the environment. The Seahawks are playing for a playoff spot. We know that stadium gets loud as hell. They're basically eliminated if they lose this game, so this is a win or go home spot for the Seahawks. The stadium's going to be rocking. That being said, this is also a win or go home spot for the Jets as well, so that doesn't give them any sort of advantage. The best unit on the field in this game, without a doubt, is the Jets defense. Without a doubt. The Jets defense is better than any unit on the field here, and Geno Smith has just been an auto fade recently. So I'm taking the Jets in the under.
Yeah, I'm also on the Jets. I just truly hate the matchup for the Seahawks offense. I mean, you have not one, but 2 stud corners on the outside. Let's not forget DJ Reed, who, oh, by the way, played for Seattle last year, so he's got a little revenge game going on. You got those 2 stud corners on the outside that are going to be guarding your wide receivers that are responsible for not only 50% of the team's targets, but yards through the air. Now, obviously, there's a chance that Kenny Walker gets going like he did against KC, but what did that ultimately result in? 14 points against a horrendous secondary. The Jets' defensive front is fully healthy, and with the 2 outside receivers for Seattle on islands and man coverage, the Jets can commit to stopping the run and creating pressure on Geno. Meanwhile, offensively, the Jets get Mike White back, who, I mean, I'm not even a Mike White guy, but I mean, have you seen Zach Wilson the last 2 weeks? Anything is an improvement over that bum. And with a motivated Jets team playing for their guy at quarterback against a Seahawks defense that has fallen to 29th in DVOA over the last 5 weeks, I think that this Jets offense could bounce back. I mean, this Jets run game the past 2 weeks has been pathetic. 40 carries, 116 yards, 2.9 yards per carry. But we've seen Zonovan Knight have better days, and what a spot to wake up than against the Seahawks defense that is allowing 155 rushing yards per game over their last 6 games, 40 more than any other team in the league.
All right, so we're both on the Jets. Toast, do you have a lean here?
Oh, yeah. I love the Jets here. I want them in the first half, and I want them in the full game. First of all, just really quickly, Beaver, did you know that the Jets are only the 3rd team in the Super Bowl era to have the defensive rookie of the year and offensive rookie of the year, or they're potentially to do that? They're both the big favorite. Well, Garrett Wilson's a favorite, minus 200, but only the 3rd team to do that in the Super Bowl era. So that's things you're looking up for the Jets. But yeah, we just saw them last week play like crap against the Jaguars. The reason I wanted to play in the first half, teams this year in the NFL that just scored 6 points or less are 11-2 ATS in the first half in their next game. Mike White has been very good for the Jets. He's 3-0 to the over in his passing props. And then Seattle. One thing that we know about Seattle, when they go east, it's their good spot. But one thing that we also know about Seattle is when they have rest, they're not good. When Pete Carroll's coming off of a bye or he's had like an extra 3 days of rest, because of like a Thursday night game and then they played to Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks have lost their last 5 games in that situation. So for whatever reason, he just doesn't do well on getting a little bit of extra rest. But yeah, I'm all over the Jets this weekend. I think it's a smash spot for them. And I also like the under 42.5. Is it still 42.5? Yeah, perfect. Cool. Under 42.5 division, or I'm sorry, road teams that are favorites in the NFL this year. But by less than a field goal, the under is 24-7-1. That's hitting at 77% to the under. So Jets in the under for me.
Damn, there's a lot of games where we're on the same side here as a unit, which is cool. I like that. It's making me think it's going to be a good one. Let's move on to the next one. Vikings at Packers. Probably the coolest game of the weekend. As far as betting value goes, maybe not so much. So I'm on the Vikes and the over here. But like, trust me, I'm gonna give you my reasoning why, but I'm not kicking down the door to tell me here. This is more just gonna be an awesome game to watch. I don't think the total for this is. Hold on. It's 47.5, not 37.5. I was gonna say, why the hell on the left does it say that? Let me fix that real quick. There we go.
I wanted to go with the over, but I was seeing some weird money line movement on that joint. And
I was trying to ignore that. I was trying to. The football part of this points to the over. Let me just get to my notes.
Okay.
So I'm taking the 3, and I know a lot of people think Minnesota is overvalued this year, and yeah, I'm probably one of those people. But catching a full 3, I have to take it. First of all, the weather's supposed to be fine. I know it's Lambeau in January, but we're looking at low to mid 30s, no wind, no rain. There's definitely like a little bit of skepticism when it comes to Kirk Cousins in big games in Lambeau Field in the winter. But the truth is, those games don't really exist. He hasn't really been to Lambeau in the winter, and none of that even matters because we're not even looking at Lambeau weather. It's going to be not bad at all. So weather not going to be a factor here. But I honestly, I think that helps Green Bay also. I think both of these teams are better out of the cold. I don't care that the Packers have won 3 games. Congrats. You beat the Bears, the Rams, and the Dolphins. I don't think Green Bay's a very good football team. Straight up. I think in this weather, in this situation right now, that this game should be a pick'em. So catching a full 3, I have to take it. This is probably going to be the best game of the week. I think we're looking at a close finish. Which, again, getting a full 3, how do you not take it? And especially if you think it's going to be a close game, how do you not take the Vikings this year? Kirk Cousins has what, 8, 9? I don't know offhand, so I don't want to throw numbers out there. I'm estimating.
Vikings are 11-0 straight up in one-score games.
Yeah, I knew that, but there's a stat. Kirk Cousins has, I think, 8 or 9 game-winning fourth-quarter drives this year. Something like. It's something I don't want to say a number and be wrong. It's something unheard of where if Kirk Cousins gets the ball tied or losing within one score at the end of the game, he's going to go win it. That's just how the season has gone for the Vikings, and he has done it every single time. So catching a full 3 in a game where my score prediction for this game is 28-27, and I'm not even picking a winner because it doesn't matter because I'm catching, once again, a full 3. So let's say 28-23. Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins, 8 fourth-quarter comebacks this season, 8 game-winning drives this season.
So 8. I was right. So, yeah, Kirk Cousins, 8 game-winning fourth-quarter drives this year. And we're getting
number one.
3.
Vikings are also number 1 in the league in fourth-quarter point differential as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say final score 28-27. Maybe the Packers win. Maybe they don't. Who cares? Vikings plus 3 and over.
Listen, as the co-mayor of Sharpstown, I'd love to take the Packers here, but absolutely no way. If you're going to give me points with a team that's 10-3 and finds new ways to win every single week, then I will take them. I think the Packers are just massively overvalued after these last 3 wins. They were down 10-16 at half to a Bears team with no Mooney, and if not for 2 late picks from Justin Fields, I think they lose that game. They handled the Rams at home, but the Rams are horrendous on the road against the spread, and they're highly overvalued from that Thursday night game. The Dolphins, there's like somebody outside with a car. I'm going to close my window. Jesus, buddy. These guys letting out emissions. Uh, they handled the Rams, but that's another highly overvalued team. And then the Dolphins were passing the ball at will until Tua suffered his concussion and threw 3 picks in the fourth quarter. Even with those 3 turnovers given to the Packers, they mustered just 6 points from it. I feel like the Packers started off unlucky, but are now starting to get lucky as of late. And the matter of fact is that this defense remains quite bad. The Vikings defense is just as bad, but if we're playing a game of luck, then I'm going to go with the more lucky team, and I'm going to go with the team that has a disgusting amount of weapons at the quarterback's disposal, unlike Green Bay.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I am the mayor of Sharpstown. I am all over the Packers. Give me the Packers minus the points. Listen, you guys talked about the Vikings being the favorites. 7-8 Packers, 12-3 Vikings. This is the 10th time in 20 years a team under 500 straight up will be favored against a team with a winning percentage over 80% in December or later. 10 times in 20 years. You know what the record of the teams that a favorite is? 9-0 straight up, 8-1 ATS. They never lost. Packers, baby.
Until now. This is like,
tomorrow.
you know, this just reminds me of all those Padres money lines you fed out on YouTube this year.
Oh, we're going there right now?
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Really? You're going to take it there?
Okay.
All those
Nah, that's
Padres
dirty.
money lines. I
No,
love
I was wearing a Mets hat to be cool, but it's all good. I'm sure you
I love
just mad
Joe
that we beat that
Musgrove
ass.
in this spot. All right, next up. All right, Rams at Chargers. There's no chance in hell that I am not betting the Chargers here. I am all over
Must
the
bet.
Chargers. Man, must bet, right? Minus 6.5. My apologies. So, that's right. I have 2 bets for this one. I also have the Rams team total under 17.5, which is juiced up to minus 120, but there's a reason for that. So give me the Chargers, minus 6.5, Rams team total under. I really think we're about to see the Chargers, and not even about to see, I think we've already begun to see the Chargers establish themselves as a team you don't want to see in the playoffs right now. There was a lot of hype surrounding this Chargers team entering the season, if you remember. They got completely hammered with injuries, right? Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are back. Sebastian Joseph Day is back. And Joey Bosa is back. And that's the best part. This pass rush was number 2 in the league over the last 4 weeks. Khalil Mack's heating up. This pass rush was coming alive. And now Joey Bosa comes back. He's just coming back now. I think this defense is going to be a problem. And you have Justin Herbert with his cracked ribs getting more and more healthy every week. His receivers are more and more healthy every week. I think this is the ultimate welcome back to reality Baker Mayfield game. I think Baker's going to look terrible. I think we're looking at a potential blowout. There's still no Aaron Donald for the Rams. I actually think that Leonard Floyd also might not play in this game for the Rams. The Chargers are probably going to be able to score on the Rams however they want. Like I said, potential blowout. I don't think the Rams see double digits here.
Yeah, I like your pick quite a bit. I'm also riding with the Chargers minus 6.5. Money and bets have been posted on the Rams all week at 6.5, and the line has stood still since Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. They're coming off a 51-point ass kicking of the Broncos, and now they're asking us to like 6.5 points against them. It shows that the books think that the Chargers are going to cover here. The Rams may be 3-1 against the spread in their last 4, but can we get some context here? I mean, those 3 wins were against the slumping Seahawks, the slumping Raiders, and the slumping Broncos, while their loss against the spread was on the road to a surging Packers team. Now they're on the road facing a surging Chargers team, and the Chargers offense has looked nuts with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on the field simultaneously. Not only that, but this Rams offensive line, let's not forget, this is one of the worst units in all of football. That front 5 is terrible. And the Chargers pass rush is going insane lately. Over the last 3 weeks, they're second in sack percentage at 13.54%. And guess what? As you said, Mr. Joey Bosa returns this week. So I think that this is a prime spot for the Chargers to do whatever the hell they want to the Rams. I think, honestly, there's a chance that what the Rams just did to the Broncos, the Chargers do to the Rams. Right back.
I love that. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Toast, anything for this game?
Couple weird things. So one thing about Justin Herbert that's like a weird thing about where he plays. So in this time zone, when he plays on the East Coast in the Central Time Zone, so Middle America on the East Coast, 12-4 ATS in his career. When he plays in the Mountain Time Zone, essentially the West Coast, 13-17 in his career. But have no fear for you Charger backers. Baker Mayfield is 28-40-1 ATS in his career. In the last 20 years, 269 quarterbacks have started a game. Mayfield is ranked 263rd quarterback ATS. He is absolutely horrible. He is absolutely horrible. I would go with the Chargers as well. So
Toast is in agreement.
There's only one team you could get bet Baker against, and well, besides the Raiders, it's the Browns.
Now, I liked Baker when he first took the job. Because I called that. We bet, remember? I had the Rams.
We did do that.
+6 against the Raiders on Thursday night. I was like, Baker might shock us a little bit. Like I said, this is the welcome back to America Baker game.
I think this is a perfect, if anybody's playing a teaser, this is a perfect teaser spot too at minus a half. For sure. And then on top of that, in his career as a favorite, Justin Herbert, 20-8 in 6-point teeter roll.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's Sauce's thing for next game. I don't care.
No,
because he doesn't like teasers. He's not a teaser guy. He's not a teaser guy. It's okay.
It's the last game, and I actually didn't even write notes for this game because I hate the side that I'm on.
Ooh.
But I have to do it because everyone has been betting the Pittsburgh Steelers all week.
Do you know why?
It's the second most public bet on the board is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there has been no line movement. None. The books are completely cool selling all these Pittsburgh +2.5 tickets. I don't get it. I don't like Tyler Huntley. I do like the Steelers. I do like the Ravens' run defense. But other than that, I want to bet Pittsburgh. But there's one thing that's always certain is sportsbooks are never trying to give free money away. So the books have an angle here. They like Baltimore, and I don't know what that angle is yet. It's something I'm going to have to take a look at tomorrow morning.
Everybody's betting the Pittsburgh Steelers because it's all the trends and all the BS and everything that you read about this game. When I was looking it up, it's about the underdog covering and Mike Tomlin as an underdog. The underdog in this series has covered the last 10 meetings. Mike Tomlin is 43-20 ATS as an underdog from week 5 on. I mean, I could keep going on and on and on. There's all kinds of things telling you to bet the Steelers.
So are you on Baltimore with me, Toast?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. I love it. This is like when Toast decides reluctantly. This is like on the baseball show when I'm like, Angels money line, and Toast is like, fuck, I guess I'll go with the Angels too. And no.
Oh, did you hear?
The guy in the middle is not my brother. Is the guy in the middle is not my brother or cousin. That's my stepson.
we finally just put our first sharp play up after just taking the Chargers and fading 99% of the money. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers plus the 2.5. I can't stand it, but I have to do it. The Pittsburgh Steelers rush defense is starting to really round into form. As you said earlier in the video, in the stream, they're second in rush DVOA over the last 6 weeks, and the only team they got churned by is none other than the Baltimore Ravens. Can the I don't know why I would be a coward for riding with the
I forgot you could see it. Usually they can't see the screen, but I said
I don't know why I would be a coward. But yeah, I just ultimately Tyler Huntley, this character, he's not a good football player. They don't trust the guy to throw the ball at all. And I think that if Mike Tomlin gears his team up for a game where, hey, listen, the only thing you guys have to do today is stop the run, then I think they're going to do a very damn good job at doing so. In terms of offensively, we have seen the Ravens run defense look great all season. I will definitely say that, but I feel like there have been a little bit of cracks in the armor against them as of late. I'm about to confirm so. While Cordell Patterson only averaged 2.1 yards per carry, I mean, the duo of Avery Williams and Tyler Algier were averaging 4.7 yards per carry. And then you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, who just averaged 5+ yards per carry against that Baltimore rush defense. So if you have the trio of Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, and obviously Benny Snell getting some carries in there, doing the same thing that the Ravens are doing to the Steelers, then I think the Steelers are going to have some success in this one. I like that trend with the underdog. I've noticed that as well. Every time these two teams play, you take the underdog and we win. We bet this matchup last year with that same logic, and we bet on Pittsburgh and won the game straight up and against the spread. So I'm going to do the same thing here.
Wrong. Good analysis there, but wrong.
Okay.
Real quick before we close, because that was the last game. I didn't look at the Monday night game, so I don't even want to give something out. Off the top of your dome, any of you guys and VIPs, I'm gonna wake up and look at this with clean eyes and do the top 7 bets and stuff. I haven't done that yet, but just eyeballing it. Do you have a bet of the day? Prop Beaver Toast.
I would do a teaser with the Colts plus 11.5 and the Chargers minus a half a point, and then find somebody else in there.
Wait, Colts. Say that again.
Colts plus 11.5, Philly minus a half a point, and the Chargers minus a half a point as a 6-point teaser for plus 120.
That's plus 120. That's a weird play right there.
I do the 6.3 teasers a lot.
Yeah, and he cashes them a lot too. He does a good job with them.
It's like those stupid hit parlays that he somehow hits all the time. And every single episode when he reads them off, I swear to God, every episode when he reads them off at the end, I'm like, this is a stupid fucking bet. And then he hits them at like an 80%. Like, this is, I'll type it, but like, this is stupid.
This guy's wasting my fucking time.
Out of the days, the Falcons -6. I love the Falcons.
That's a tough one. That's a tough sell right there. I'm not going to put that as the bet of the day. I have to say, at first glance, and I don't think it's tough to take a team for the bet of the day that has lost 4 straight. But I remember thinking when I was looking through these games that the Jets might be the bet of the day. But I don't want to. I'm not even going to type it on the screen because I don't want to make any promises because I really need to wake up and look.
I do like that a lot.
I just fade Geno, man. He hasn't been good. The only way the Seahawks beat the Jets is if Kenneth Walker comes out and plays. We don't even know if he's definitely playing, but come out and plays like it's week 8 still, and he's an elite runner because he hasn't looked like that in a while. But it's late as hell. Thank you everyone for watching. Happy New Year to you all. Great NBA night. Thanks to the Buckeyes for covering. Hopefully we have a great Sunday. Thanks, Toast, for stepping in. I know you're usually not on the NFL show. We'll talk to everyone on Twitter. Later.
Peace.
Good night, guys.